What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to another video of the NAS100 analysis, and we're going to be picking up, or I'm going to be picking up from where I left off last week in regards to the analysis that I did, right? So before I get into all of that, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like, because I believe you're going to find the content today useful, right? And also, just so that you know, it's super important that I do say this. I'm not actually giving you financial advice. I'm only here to share how I like to navigate the markets, especially in regards to the NAS. So do take that in mind when you're watching this video. And if my analysis makes sense and you want to go off it, always obviously go and seek another pair of eyes, right? Because I do make mistakes and I'm not trying to influence anyone in a bad direction or a terrible direction, but I'm just only sharing with you my work in terms of how I plan to navigate, and then you will let me know if it makes sense or it doesn't make sense in the comment section. So with all of that covered, we're just going to get straight into it. Okay, so last week's video pretty much was in preparation for this over here. That's what last week's video was about, was preparing for this move that happened over here. And when I was doing the recording, all we could see on the chart, right, was all of this. Okay, all of this is what we could see. Today is Sunday, right, but this chart goes up to Friday, and we can see it's Friday right here, the 21st. So this is all we got for last week, right? Okay, so with all of that all done and said and done, let's going to get straight into it. So there's a number of things that I said during that week that I thought was going to take place. So obviously we had a high that was broken at this level, but this was during the week. This was during this week, not last week. So everything that happened here, I couldn't see any of that last week. Okay, this was the assumption that I put in for this week, which was these trend lines over here, right? The little move up and down that we're getting in here, right? And then all this was a surprise. Okay, but the funny thing is, if I take this little move and I drop it up here, right, and I drop it, say, and I drop it over here because I was playing around with it for a bit, kind of looks like we might have a little something there. Obviously I'm just assuming, it doesn't mean anything, right? So we're just going to get rid of all this for now. I'm sorry I did that, sorry. We're going to get straight into the actual analysis work, right? So last week, what I said, everything I said last week in regards to how I thought market was going to be moving, is kind of done the opposite of that. Okay, so because it has done that, we now need to assess what I'm going to be doing this week moving forward, how I plan to navigate. Okay, so I'm looking at this on an hour. Okay, so let's just jump into the day real quick. Let's jump into the day, see what the day has to tell us. Okay, so as we can see on the day, price is beginning to break down, but it hasn't broken any formal structure at the moment for us to say that, okay, this is a definite downtrend. So up here, we kind of want to be careful. I mean, this is in favor as to what I'm looking for anyways, because I am downward facing. I have a more bias towards taking sells than taking buys. And the only reason why I'm downward facing is just because, in my opinion, I believe the market has reached its high point and it has to do some sort of a retracement, and the retracement is going to be quite large, in my opinion. Okay, so that's why I'm downward facing, but you don't have to be. You have to go in a direction that makes sense to you, right? So let's just get into it for this week coming. So this week, a couple things that I'm waiting for, right? So first things first, is price going to bounce off this level over here, which is a major level in regards to where market is at the moment? So this level right here, which is 15,270.5, right? This level. Make sure I called. Actually, no, incorrect. I had this highlighted, so I called out the wrong number. So the number is actually 15,266.5. So this level is price going to smash through it, right, and bounce back up again, or is it just going to just break all the way down, right? So that is what I'm kind of, that's the vibe that I'm going off right now. The vibe I'm going off right now is market going to do something like this, basically? Maybe give us a little double top, I mean a double level off at this zone right here, and then break down, or is it just going to bounce and then fly up, right? and then fly up. So this is the vibe that I'm going off right now. And just to cover that, okay, so just to cover why I'm saying what I'm saying, okay, so the low of last week, so the low of last week is this one over here. It's this right here. So this is the low of last week, right? So that's a new low that was created last week. Let me see if I've got a label for this. Okay, weekly low. And then this was the high of last week, right? Weekly high. So this was the high, this was the low, this was the high, okay? And last week's high was taken out via this move over here, okay? So in all fairness, you could more or less say that this whole situation here is a strong uptrend, right? And it looks like that. It actually looks like that, right? But because we have a new weekly low over here, this level has now become really important for us. Just because if it breaks through this, then chances are it's going to keep going down, in my opinion, okay? I could be wrong, but that's what I just think, that if it breaks through this weekly low, so I'm just going to just make this a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, all right? If it breaks through this level over here, then I'm going to assume the price is going to go down a little bit lower, right? It's going to go down a little bit lower. And then if it takes out last week, so not last week, but the week prior to that weekly low, which is this one over here, okay, then it's a strong confirmation for me that price is going to keep going down. That's just my opinion on that. That's just my opinion, okay? So that's the vibe I'm going with. So at the moment, as it stands, this is the zone that I'm keeping an eye on at the moment. This little area right here. This is the zone that I'm keeping an eye on right here, okay? And in between that zone, there is tradable moves, okay? But because I've kind of turned around and said to myself, I only want to take about, I don't know, 1 or 2 trades a week. This is just a new thing that I'm going with at the moment, because I think it's a lot better. I'll have a higher success rate in trading if I did it this way, supposing to trying to be in the market every single day, right? So, and I tried it out last week, and in all fairness, I did quite well. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did quite well. And I took 3 trades last week. So I did 3 trades last week, right? And one of them went bad, but both of them went good, right? One of them went bad and both of them went good. And the 2 that went good, right, was I added another trade on, okay? So this is what happened, okay? So on Tuesday, seeing that price was not going above this level over here, which was 15,732.4, I started putting sales up here, right? So I put in a sell right here because I believe it was a good idea, right? And then what happened was I got a little bit of profit, but I didn't jump out and I didn't bring in a trading stop because I kind of wanted more. I wanted it to get below this level over here. Okay, right? But at the same time, because trying to trade the highs and the lows is really, it's an art. It's not as straightforward as I thought it's going to be, but it's something that I'm still working on. I'm hoping that I can perfect, but it's not as easy as I thought it was, right? So either way, this is what happened. So I stuck in my sell right here, right? And price went down a bit and then shot up and then hit my stop and then took me out. Okay, they took me out straight out of the game. Boom, I was gone. And then on Wednesday, right? On Wednesday, I didn't do anything. I just waited to see what market was going to do, right? So on Thursday, seeing that price hadn't broken through what I thought was the high, because I thought at this point the high has been set, and now that the high has been set, this is exactly what I'm waiting for in regards to trading. So for example, I wait for either a high or a low to be locked in. Then from that point, the direction it's going to go in is quite straightforward, right? Because it moves in a zigzag, right? So the market moves in a zigzag, so wait for one side to kind of lock itself in, and then you jump on the other side. It doesn't always go like that. But that's what I saw. That's what I thought I had identified on the Wednesday. So on the Thursday, what I did was I jumped in with a sell right here, So I jumped in with a sell right here, right? That went really well. And then what happened was on the Friday, I saw price pushed up, started to break down, and then I jumped in on another sell right here. Right here. So we're just going to zoom in so I can just show you exactly where that sell was. So this sell was right here. It was these wicks over here, right? Actually, no, I'll say this one. I would say more or less this one. Actually, no fairness, that's a lie. It was this one right here, right? So I jumped in on the sell right here. And then on a Friday, just before the close of market, I was able to jump out the market completely with everything. So I was actually able to, first entry was over here, and then second entry was over here. And then I thought it was going to go down a lot lower. It didn't. So I just jumped out around this level. So I got these two and lost that one, which pretty much made up for the loss of this one, right? So it was all good, right? It was all good. And that's the kind of moves that I want to go for. That's something that I'm definitely trying to replicate in the market more often, which is not to be in it as much as often, right? Not to be in the market that often. Just take, I don't know, 1 or 2 trades per week and that's it, you're good, right? But whilst all of that is going on, just be actively monitoring the markets, because sometimes the opportunities that I might be waiting for, it might come a lot faster. So although we're only looking for 1 or 2 setups in the week, I have to be keeping an eye on this whole thing throughout the week in order to catch the setups when it appears. All right, so that's how I did that. So this week, moving forward, what I'll be waiting for on a Monday, if market opens, is what market plans to do. So is market going to shoot up to start creating a new high, right? And if it starts creating a new high, right, I want to see if it's going to break the weekly high, right? And if it starts creating a new low, then I want to wait and see it settle so that I know that, okay, cool, the weekly low is locked in. And when it starts dropping down to form the weekly low, I want to see if it's going to go past this zone right here. So for example, this is the current weekly low as it stands, and next week hasn't happened yet, so we're waiting for that to take place. So this is another assumption. I'm going to leave these scribbles on the chart so that the next time we visit, we can then see how well everything's panned out. And plus, obviously, you guys can follow along with your charts at home as well. So market opens tonight, right? So because market is going to be open, say, from about 11 o'clock tonight, right? And that's UK GMT. So it opens tonight, right? And between tonight and the morning, it's doing something like this, right? Not exact, but something like that. Let's just say, right? And then it starts breaking down. So it starts breaking down on the Monday, okay? And then it may break down some more on the Tuesday, right? Okay? And then it may start to push back up again on the Wednesday, okay? And then on the Thursday, we might have something like up here, and then on the Friday, it might just blast all the way through to the bottom, right? That is kind of what I'm thinking we may get, right? We may get. And should this move happen, where basically we have this, price comes down to the previous weekly low, right? Comes down to the weekly previous low after taking out last week's low, bounces off it, and then flies all the way down. Then what that basically means for me moving forward is that on the bare minimum, a possible TP level of 13,733.1 is definitely possible, right? So a possible TP level of this zone right here, it is possible, and that is a major level also, okay? So at this level, price could literally bounce from this level and then start shooting back up again. It's very easy for it to do so, okay? But that's just what I think. Let me just rejig this so everything is more symmetrical. All right, so let's just move this way. Okay, yeah, let's move this way. So say price comes back down to this zone over here, or let's just say just around this zone over here. Either way, it don't matter, right? Just do it like that. So price takes out last week's low. During the course of this week, gets to the previous week's low, which is this one over here. Okay, right? Pushes up, takes it out. Okay, takes it out. So that basically confirms to me the price actually wants to go down, right? And then I will then look for a position on the next rebound. If it comes up as high as this, then I would aim to join it from that level to ride it all the way down. I may be right, I could be wrong. Either way, we'll find out next week. So with all of that said and done, okay, if you do not have a broker, make sure you check in the description box. Okay, there is a link in there with the promo code. Make sure you definitely use that. All right. Also, there is a link to a blog I've put together for you guys as well with some books. I highly recommend you go over. It will help you, right? But however, if you're not a book type of person, then naturally just stick to YouTube videos, right? But the books will give you way more than you get from YouTube videos. That I can promise you. But it just depends on how you learn it. So everybody's got different ways of consuming information. So videos might be your way. So if that's the case, then obviously just keep doing what you're doing. Also as well, I put a link in there for TradingView. If you're not using TradingView, I do not know why you're not using TradingView. To start off with, it's relatively free. Well, it's not relatively free, it's free to use to start off with, okay? But there are a number of functions that are removed from you if you're using the free version. Me personally, I use the paid version and it pays for itself. So if you're not using TradingView, I highly recommend you use TradingView. That's just in my opinion, right? I don't see anything that's pretty much better than that, apart from the actual chart you're placing your trades on, because that's where the money is, right? And even now, you can actually bring that onto TradingView. I haven't done so myself, but you can actually do that. So I recommend using TradingView. So with all of that said and done, my awesome people from all around the world, I want to thank you for coming over to watch another episode of NAS100 analysis today. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be very, very soon. If you do not get a video from me during the course of the week, you will definitely get a video on the Sunday. So with that covered, guys, this is Pips and Points signing out.